Thank you, Chairman Summers. To get right into the 30th anniversary, I wanted to start by showcasing the 30th anniversary coin that will be highlighting over the next several months. So right now we do not have the 30th one in hand, but we do have the 25th anniversary, so it'll be a similar layout, but it will show the 30th anniversary like highlighted in the picture. And then on the back, it's actually a art piece that we had designed by a local Indigenous artist, and that will be displayed on the back to highlight the 200th commemoration, which Paul will speak on more. With the 30th anniversary, one of the cool new items we're going to have for the summer months is a 360 camera and photo booth. So if you've seen them, you stand on the platform in the middle with up to 7 people, and it goes around you and takes the image. So you'll be able to have highlighting all the different festivals and events that will take place in the Miramichi over the summer month, along with the 30th celebration. So that will be able to we'll be able to share that out onto social media and really tie in the 30th anniversary with all the festivals and events that will be happening over the summer months. And then when it comes to sponsorship, we'll also be highlighting the 30th anniversary. So all the different festivals and events that we sponsor or have a relationship with will highlight that 30th anniversary logo with all their marketing material. And we have also met with the majority of the festival and events that do take place in the Miramichi, and they are on board and they're excited to see this take place over the summer months. And with that, we did want to focus on one 30th anniversary celebration. So we have looked into hosting a drone show after the excitement from the eclipse on July 1st instead of fireworks. And it would be 2 20-minute shows highlighting the 30th anniversary with a focus on City of Festivals. So the 150 drones that go up in the air would be highlighting each of the individual festivals that we do have that happen in the Miramichi. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Paul to talk on the 200th commemoration.
We have a question from Your Worship, Amanda, if you don't mind. Go ahead there, Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor.
hey, I just figured I'd ask now, Amanda, before you guys switch, but just on the drone show, which is exciting, would you guys see that one being like downtown on the water where the fireworks usually are, or back at the airport?
I'll take that one. The requirements for the drone show are twofold. We looked at the downtowns. We looked at a number of different locations. There is a definite requirement as far as physical space to host the drones themselves. And more importantly, in the downtowns, there is a lot of light pollution that wouldn't make the show as spectacular as what it was for the eclipse. So we've already made arrangements tentatively with the Miramichi Airport Commission to host it in a similar area to where we had it before. But we looked at a number of different options as far as locations, and it boiled down to security for the drones, number one, but more importantly, the light pollution that would be really, it wouldn't be as effective as it would be. We even looked at Middle Island, for example, right, which is that's considered a dark spot, but then you get into parking. And how do you alleviate that and not make it inconvenient for the residents along Water Street? And just to recall, if you recall the situation we had with the eclipse, parking became a real major issue there that we underestimated.
Yeah, but it will still be a free public event.
No question.
Yeah, great, thanks.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor DePlacy, go for it.
I guess just on that same one, I know, again, just the eclipse was great, but there was a lot of issues with the location with the drone show, and I'm just wondering, obviously we'll take that in consideration, especially around issues of accessibility and needing a car to get there, and, people walking amongst traffic and all of these other things. And I'm also reminded of last night's meeting when we had 1,000 respondents saying how much they love fireworks. So just take that as a grain of salt that we have real good, fresh data of the community saying how much they love fireworks and don't ever touch our fireworks, literally last night. So I just want to make sure that we might have to do a few fireworks as part of the show or something.
Fair point. I think what he's alluding to is sometimes we're open to change and sometimes not so much, but I happened to miss the drone show last year, so I'd really be looking forward to that. But I understand where Councillor DePlacy's coming from on I don't know if I want to announce no fireworks on Canada Day here this afternoon either, so to be continued. I appreciate the sentiments. I believe we're moving on to Mr. McGraw now. Thank you, Amanda. That was great.
Before we, Amanda's also just going to circulate the 25th anniversary coin for those of you who haven't seen it. The 30th will be similar to this, but with different design, just so you know. One of the issues that and I have to preface what I'm going to say by the fact that we've been working on this planning. Our department has been working on this planning since January, on both simultaneously on the 30th anniversary as well as the 200th commemoration. The coin, the drone show will serve dual purposes in allowing us to really use those two items as a crossover. As Amanda mentioned, the coin will have the backside. It will actually depict the story of the Rankin Park, or the Rankin House, and the fact that the Indigenous peoples of Natawahaneg were offered that by Alexander Rankin as a recovery station. So we've tried to use as many assets as we have on both issues. The other thing that's in common with the 30th anniversary and the 200th commemoration is that other than the drone show, we are looking at doing things across the city in smaller community-based celebrations as opposed to one big blast. Yes, we will have the drone show potentially. There is another thing, another item that I'll talk about in the commemoration, but we want to take the celebrations and the commemoration into the community. So that's the concept with the 360 camera, in featuring it at the festivals, that we'll be able to show people celebrating the 30th anniversary at XYZ Festival and other community events. As far as the 200th commemoration goes, again, the back of the coin, as we mentioned, there'll be a formal launching of that, preferably at a regular council meeting. I've had the discussion, preliminary discussions with the city manager and with the mayor on that, and we have that coming. We've been working with the Miramichi Historical Society on a lot of smaller events. They're bringing in an author, Dr. Alan McEachran, who is considered the foremost expert on the Great Miramichi Fire. He'll be doing a lecture. We will be sponsoring that as part of our events. There will be a dinner theater that we're working on, dinner theater concept that we'll report back on with more details that we're working on with Characters Matter and the Miramichi Folk Song Festival. We're hoping that the dinner theater will be the foundation for a legacy project that could continue on into 2026 and beyond by creating a theater festival in the fall here. It was very important from our perspective to try to use the 200th commemoration as creating some type of legacy project. So we're working on that. Details are still in the works. The Miramichi Fire Department is involved in these celebrations because the Fire Safety Week coincides, thank you, my French was coming out there, but the coincides with the commemoration, which is October 7th. So they're working on some fire safety programs. They're also looking at working with Stephen Tull he's a wildfire expert, and having some discussions there. We've involved the Anglophone North School District with a lot of school projects that are being coordinated through the Miramichi Historical Society and the school districts. We are also, we've just made a decision to be one of the sponsors of a book that's being written on anecdotes of concerning the Miramichi Fire by two local authors, Bernie Colpaw and Herb Curtis. And in addition to that, we are looking into installing some commemorative plaques at the sites of the surviving buildings from the Great Miramichi Fire. There are 8 of them. Yeah, about 8. There are 8 of them. Some are very well known to everyone. Of course, St. Paul's Church in Bushville. That's going to be the site of a lot of the activities from the Miramichi Historical Society. That's one of them. The main building at the golf course, for example, is another. The building, Flatiron Building, and the Williston House in downtown Chatham that now hosts O'Donoghue's. And so we're looking at that. There are some private residences, and we're going to try to work with them to see if we can work these in as well. Again, the idea is to have a number of smaller events. So at each one of these plaque unveilings, we will have a small event there during that time that's convenient to the owners of that particular property. So a lot of the planning is coming to fruition. We've pre-ordered the coins. We've got some. One of the things that Amanda did mention about the 30th anniversary. One of the last year, we had some just some stickers that we put together that are pretty. They're pretty fancy, and the demand was overwhelming. So we've got a bunch of those that we'll be giving out at these events, that people want to put on their computers, they want to put in their vehicles, they want to put wherever they want. But the whole concept of both the 30th anniversary and the 200th commemoration is to not single out one particular area, but to try to take the celebrations and the commemorations into the community. And we're hoping that it'll just set a different precedent, and we'll be able to continue on with that. So we will, as we move forward here in final decisions, we'll be keeping council updated on the progress that we're making and where we're going, and how these things are developing. But it's proving to be a very active year. Amanda mentioned that we've met with most of the event organizers, and they're very, very excited about what we're going to do here, including our Events Miramichi website that's going to be featured on the city's, as part of the city's website, and coordinating that. So it's a work in progress. Some of the stuff has been decided. We've got the designs done, and as we move forward through this, we'll let council know what's happening.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Paul. I think I'll open it up to the floor first. I got some comments of my own, but I'll save those to the end. And I think I see Councillor DePlacy, you're up.
Yeah, thank you. I guess I would just, really good work. I like the plan. I was at the Sustainable Communities Conference in Fredericton a few weeks ago. You were there. And some of the conversations I'd had were around the need for community engagement around environmental impact conversations. And what I kept coming to was the 200-year anniversary of the greatest forest fire we've ever had, right? Which, we know wildfires and storms and weather are being, and I'm just wondering if there is like a environmental lens that can be applied to some of these community conversations, or speakers, or tree plantings, or something that can be highlighted in this kind of moment.
The chair, through to Councillor DePlacy, the Miramichi Fire Department's involvement with Mr. Tull, that's a component of that. Is an environmental. He's an environmental specialist and a wildfire specialist. So I would. That is one for sure that would be there. And certainly, if there are other suggestions, because we're acting for the commemoration, we are acting as a portal, as a marketing portal. And what we've told the Historical Society, that they can send out to their members and people that if they have smaller events, then they will be coordinated through our office, through our department, so that there's a central location. Also, the logo that we have developed, which is the backside of the coin, will be featured on all of those official events. So there's already one there, and there could be others.
We're Arsenault, and then your worship, you're after that. Go for it.
It's just a quick add, actually, to what Councillor Dupont said. At FCM, they did say that there is some funding even for some environmental events that maybe could tie into supporting some of the other organizations that are in the city.
We've let the other organizations know, first of all, and I should have mentioned as well that there has been initial contact made with the Regional Development Corporation, and they're certainly willing to talk to us to look at specific projects concerning the commemoration. So,
Worship.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Paul. I like a lot of what I'm seeing. I appreciate. I'm sorry that I missed the conversation earlier about the community engagements. I think that members of council have been talking about trying to, make a better effort to get out into the different areas of the community. So I feel like what you're presenting is in line with what I've been hearing from my colleagues recently. And I don't want to say a niche-based approach, but I like that there's a lecture for the academics. I like that there's a play for the arts and cultural minded folks. And obviously an emphasis on fire safety, and that's all in the context of the 200th. And on the 30th, which I guess bleeds in as you mentioned, the little things are a lot of fun for people too. I love the coins, bringing those back. They were really popular on the 25th, and doing the stickers, which is just a little bit more accessible, so we can give those out to people in bigger numbers. As you said, Paul, people love a sticker, and I'll be happy to take those around. I would love to, when they're ready, and maybe I might have a question of when you think the coins and the stickers will be ready, because I'd love to start taking them with me to different events. If I'm invited to an event to give a welcome, I'd love to bring them a coin, and if I go to talk to a school of kids, I'd love to bring them stickers. And do you guys know what the timeline is on when those things are going to be ready?
Again, the chair through to the mayor. How many stickers would you like?
I'll start with a couple hundred, but I think you're already mentioned. I think
we have them in stock right now.
We'll take them everywhere, And what about the coins?
The coins, Amanda? About a month, about 30 days. Yep.
Great. Okay. And I also just really want to say I love the plaques. I also don't know if it's part of if they're collaborating with you yet, but I recently was meeting with the Downtown Chatham group, and they had some visions for some sort of Downtown Chatham 30th anniversary banners for the sail masts, which I thought looked fantastic, and just wondering if that's maybe if that entered the sphere of your conversations yet, and if not, I'd encourage them to touch base with you, and I love, maybe we could do some of that on the street lamppost too. I don't know if there's any room for that.
Again, the chair through to the mayor. Those discussions were held in January with the temporary new general manager, part-time general manager, whatever his term is. We've had those discussions already, and I was aware of it, not the finer details, but the overall concept. And I expressed the same thing you just mentioned to them at the time, to approach us once they had the planning done.
Okay, good. So I'll send a note to Deputy Mayor Quinn to encourage them to get that in. He's our rep there. Finally, I guess I actually just inspired by my colleagues here and building on what you're saying, there is a specific, I will send you the details, but a specific FCM program that was launched last year called Growing Canada's Community Canopies. It's like a multi-$100 million program that we can apply to receive money to buy trees to plant. And I think it would be really cool if we at least even planted a few commemorative trees as like a formal ceremony. But then also, I was in a community for my personal work a couple of years ago. I think it was Liverpool, Nova Scotia. They had a milestone anniversary in their community one year, about 20 years ago, and what they did was they offered people could get a tree from the community. And now, like when I was there 20 years later, they just had these beautiful trees all over town. So anyway, I'll send you the details. Maybe we can look into that, even if it's, whether it's a few commemorative trees and or a broader program where we could, I love the symbolism Councillor DePlacy put in, as we'll plant a bunch of trees to sort of commemorate losing most of them, I'm sure, at that time. It would be fun to have a look at that, and if we could scale it up or scale it down, but in some way incorporate it. So I'll send it over to you guys to see if it might be a viable thing to roll in addition to all the other great ideas you've presented. So thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I guess when you save yourself, oh, sorry, Councillor King.
Thanks,
I almost
Councillor
left you.
Summers. Paul, Amanda, thank you for the report. On the drone show, that's gonna be, have to have that at night, right? Is there anything we can have during the day, like, have some bands and maybe balloons and stuff for the kids and, make a day of it, or maybe even have a band?
So the day that it will be taking place is actually on July 1st. So both of the downtowns already have extensive plans made for that day.
Okay,
So,
right.
and there'll also be the Fisherman's Powwow that will be taking place as well. So people will already be kind of in the general area, and they have activities planned into the evening leading up to the drone show.
Okay, thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councillor King. I was starting to say that when you leave your comments to the end, most of your material gets taken by your colleagues, but that's okay. Thank you to the entire department for being here today, because I'm certainly impressed with all the plans for both the 30th anniversary and the 200th commemoration of the Miramichi Fire. I guess from my notes, just, yeah, I guess I'm echoing some sentiments here, as we often say, but very important that we're trying to do these all throughout the city. I think sometimes we get fixated on the two downtowns, and I still hear that even though we're approaching our 30th, well, we're in our 30th anniversary, sorry. Sometimes other parts of the city feel like they're left out, so to speak, so I'm happy to hear that we're gonna make our best efforts to include all 6 communities throughout the summer. Certainly like the idea, not to beat a dead horse, ever since I got elected, I've been lucky enough to get pins from you guys quite often, and every time I hand those out, people truly appreciate those. It might not seem like a whole lot on the surface, but it's just like a little token that you're able to give one of your residents, and honestly, as we've already covered here, like the stickers, the pins, the coins, all of that certainly mean a lot to our residents, so I appreciate the efforts on that as well. And I guess lastly, without repeating too much stuff, the idea, I think, Paul, I forget if it was you or Amanda, hinted at the idea of a theater festival potentially becoming like a yearly event. I just noted that only because I don't get to every show. I try to get to as many as I can, but the amount of talent we have here locally, I guess I'm thinking of our 2 high schools for the most part. There's a heck of a lot of talent in that field, and the performances they're able to give our community are phenomenal, really. So the idea of that becoming a yearly event for the community, I think, is a fabulous idea. And I guess that's about it. And I guess just to wrap it up, thank you for all of these efforts, particularly on the 200th, because I had, I think, 2 or 3 residents reach out last year, sort of giving me, I guess, as the councillor, a heads up that this was coming. And I sort of boldly assured them that we'd be pulling out all the stops to make sure we do a good job of that this year. And based on what I've seen here today from your department, I think we're going to be able to do so. So thank you, Paul and Amanda and Matricia and Jeff. Any other comments or questions from the floor? Thank you, Councillor DePlacy. I will call this meeting to adjournment.